Tuesday Drive.
It's 24 to 6. This is, of course, Tuesday Drive. Now, a little earlier in the show, I asked you if you can remember the last movie you actually saw at the cinema. It's a very loose segue to my next guest this afternoon, Ben Ransom. Not only a 2016 Southern Stars winner, but a boy from the bush who's been creating music since he was a youngster. And he's just released a new single called Mama Said. But where is this segue, I hear you asking? Well, it all evolves around a cinema, but I will get to that very, very soon. Ben, welcome to Tuesday Drive.
G'day, Stephen. How are you, mate?
Now, where did this love of music come from?
Well, I don't know. I think I've been out singing. Screaming more like it, but
Hey, Ben, I might just stop you there. I might have to get you just to move maybe slightly to your left or slightly to your right because we can't hear a word you're saying.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Oh, perfect now. Right.
How's that?
That is,
Sorry.
Do not move. Wherever you are, do not move.
I'm standing very still, but usually I don't stand very still. I'm jumping around and running around, which is, I guess the music in me. I've always enjoyed music. I always wanted to sing. I used to jump around the lounge room with a tennis racket and pretend I was, part of Kiss, and it was, I've always had a love for it. I don't really know where it came from.
Now, Kiss weren't predominantly a country music band, though, were they?
It's not really.
How did that tie in with your love for country music?
Oh, I got influences from everywhere. I grew up, of course, listening to a lot of Australian pub rock, and my parents were heavily into country and Irish folk music, pop, everything in between, being a product of, growing up in what I like to call the golden age of Australian music with, all those classic bands. I sort of, pulled influences from everything, but I love the spectacle of those big stadium bands, I like being entertained, and that's what I like to do in my shows too. But I suppose the way I write songs, or the style that I write songs, it comes out and I get not pigeonholed, but I guess I fall under that broad umbrella of country music, when that's a whole nother argument, what country music is. But yeah, definitely towards the rockier end of the spectrum.
So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Sydney. I was born and raised out in Tugabi, which is out past Parramatta, and I've always been a Sydney sider, apart from the time when I, picked up and took myself off overseas to go and live over in England, and but I eventually came back to Australia and settled back down in Sydney after a short stint down in Melbourne.
Now, so what actually took you to London? Because that intrigues me.
Well, it's funny. My parents, whilst they were very supportive of, learning an instrument and dabbling in music, I don't think they ever wanted anyone any one of us kids to have a career in music. Given the nature of the industry and how fickle it can be, they're like, you got to get a proper job, get a haircut, get a new job, and or get a real job. And so, more or less, was forced to go to university, and I did that. I did my degree and finished, and I started working full time, and it was always doing music in the background, behind all this, playing in bands and stuff. And but I just felt like I was being swallowed into this, abyss of nothingness, and I thought, I've got to get out of here. And so I did. Packed up and moved over to London. It was away for about 2.5 years. And then got heavily into music and the music scene over there, and then when I came back to Australia, I said, well, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And so, just I've been trying to make it in the music industry ever since.
Is it true that apparently you took our Aussie B&S ball to the UK?
Yeah, it's fun. It's funny. It took me when I first arrived in London. It took about 3 months for me to get my first gig. It was quite a difficult nut to crack. But once I did, once I got into the scene and got to know a few people and sort of got plugged into the pipeline. There was a franchise of Australian hotels for any travellers that have been over there. They may remember the Walkabout pubs. And these are dotted all over England, all over the UK. And they had entertainment 5 nights a week. And so I was able to play up to 5 nights a week at various places. And I had my residency actually every Sunday down at the original Covent Garden Walkabout Hotel. And all the expats would come in, and it was absolutely wild. It was like I mean, there was no social distancing in this place,
No.
if anything. They pushed you in there. Even though it was at capacity, they kept pushing people in. And so they were swinging from the rafters, and it was absolutely such a fantastic atmosphere. It really was like a B&S ball in the heart of London.
They can credit you with that, I guess, by the sounds of it.
I hear it's shut down now.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll take that, Ben. We won't talk any more about that. Hey, no, I just mentioned before about this new single Mama Said. Now, am I allowed to ask what Mama said? Or do I?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I've dodged plenty of wooden spoons in my life,
Yes,
but
haven't we all?
I also picked up some tips of how to navigate it as well. And that's where the premise of the whole song came from. I'd be travelling around and thinking, how close, without knowing it, how close to death do you think we've actually been in our lives? And by extension of that, it was like, well, how do we get to the point that we're at in life with everything that can possibly go wrong, all the variables? How is it we actually survive to this point? And is it fate? Is it luck? Or is it, in this case, the pearls of wisdom that have been instilled upon us by those that know better, so i.e. mum and dad. So that's how the song always, all started, and I think there was some good advice taken. Although at the time, I'm sure it went in one ear and out the other. But looking back, I'm pretty sure some of it stuck.
Has your mum actually heard the song?
No, she hasn't. God bless her. She passed away a few years ago, unfortunately, but I'm sure she
looking down,
appreciate the sentiment behind it. Yeah.
And the fact that you just mentioned before, it may have went one ear out the other, but deep down you were listening to everything that she was saying.
Yeah, I'm sure she's looking down, smiling, and she's probably going to throw a few wooden spoons down my way with some of the things I've been saying. But anyway,
I can imagine that it must. I guess it would have been a really emotional time to put all that into a song and then sing it as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a little bit of homage to her. Yeah. Rather than think of something dreary and I'm all for melancholy songs, but I wanted to kind of reflect on the positive side of it and create something upbeat, and that's what we've done with this particular number.
Now, Ben, one of the things that caught my attention about this song is the fact that it was recorded at the ROXY Theatre in Bingara, which I believe is heritage listed. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Nowra, but we actually have an old ROXY cinema here as well. And for those listening now, there is my connection, there is my segue as to why I'm having this interview with Ben this afternoon. What made you want to shoot a video clip at a cinema in New England?
Well, we were scouting locations. We come up with this concept, and I mean, it's not a new concept, where I play multiple characters, and I play every character within this world, and it kind of goes back to the song. I could have been anything. I could have been this person, that person, or 150 other people in the crowd there. How is it I got to this point? But it was fortunate that COVID came along and we were all forced into lockdown, and we had this idea, and then the producer of the film clip, who was based up in Tamworth, because we were looking for one of these grand old theatres and he suggested that we look at this one, and yeah, it was a great fit. It was perfect for our needs and available, and not so much abandoned but shut down because of, everything was locked down, and so we got up there. They let us come in and shoot for one day. And I had to perform every role, so it was like about 60 changes of outfits and stuff. It was a highly technical shoot, and it was, it was one of those things. 20 minutes into it, we thought, oh, we've bitten off more than we can chew here, because we're only allowed 3 people in there, with the lockdown laws. But we got through it all. And come up with that, quirky little clip.
Can I just say, I've seen it, and I thought it was I like to dabble in a bit of video editing myself, and what I saw was just great, and I can just imagine the amount of technical work that would have gone behind it. I don't want to give too much away for those that haven't seen it, but probably the first minute or so, and there's a bit of keyframing going on here. But I've got to say, Ben, at the very, very end, when you see the audience. That just blew my mind. That was great.
Yeah,
wow.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was interesting. There was not much room for error, and it was one take, and that's why I think some of my acting needs to be worked on in the future. But we did what we could with what we had at our disposal, and come up with something that was just a little bit of fun.
Well, you did a great job, and I've got to say, just not only the song, but the actual filming itself was, downright fantastic. Now, I don't have much time left, but just quickly, you're performing at the Country Rocks Festival in March in Bungadore. You looking forward to that?
Yes, the one and only thing that is still locked in at the moment. Everything for the rest of 2020 has been blown out. Tours up to Queensland, etc. Multiple festivals, they've all gone, and this is the one and only thing that is still in the diary. It's March next year. Fantastic lineup of artists for anyone that's interested. It's down in Bungadore next March. Tickets are on sale, but they're actually, believe me, they're selling quickly,
like
Country
hotcakes.
Rocks.
Yes.
Yeah, they really are. So it is going to be fantastic. I mean, we're all going to be like, bulls at a gate, because we haven't performed in so long. It's going to be a fantastic, very electric live stage show.
Well, I want you to keep that momentum up, because I don't know if you've been to the Shoalhaven before, but we've got our big country music festival hopefully coming up in Berry in 2021. It's been postponed, but
is that the Rock and Hops one?
It's a big one at the Berry Showground.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You'll have to make your way down for that.
Yeah, that sounds all right. And I love it down there. In fact, I've spent plenty of time around Mollymook and Ulladulla, and of course, I've been through now, and I absolutely love the South Coast. So put me down for that.
Right, we'll book you and I'll talk. I'll get my people, their people to call your people. How does that sound? Ben, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. We're about to play Mama Said, and best of luck with the single, and of course your live performance next year, and hopefully we'll see you down at the Shoalhaven.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Absolute pleasure, and take care.
Thank you so much. That was Ben Ransom, and you can catch him at the Country Rocks Festival in Bungadore in March 2021, about a 2.5 hour drive west of Nowra. And make sure, of course, that you catch the Mama Said video clip either on YouTube or at Ben's Facebook page. But here it is now. This is Mama Said.
Sometimes I wonder how I'm here today. I still remember what my mama said. Her pearls of wisdom still line in my head. I still remember what my mama said. Sit down beside me, take this to your grave. I learned the lessons that my mama said. Food, sex, and shelter is all that you need. The human condition, so my mama said, hey, get up on your feet and swing to the rhythm and dance to the beat. And hey, live a life for today. I should be okay, 'cause my mama said. You'll have some good days and you'll have some bad, but how you back up, that's what makes you a man. So never think that you'd be better off dead. And I should be okay, 'cause my mama said, hey, the world's at your feet, so swing to the rhythm and dance to the beat. And hey, live life for today. I should be okay, 'cause my mama said. I've got some things left to learn. Know that you need it, and oh, I'm still here, and oh, I'll remember these final words. Be good to your brother, be good to your dad, be good to your sister, they're all that you have. And know I'll be watching till we meet again, so never forget now what your mama said. Hey, the world's at your feet, so swing to the rhythm and dance to the beat. And hey, live life for today, yeah. 'Cause your mama said, your mama said, your mama said, your mama said.
New single there from Ben Ransom, Mama Said. Don't forget, catch the video clip online, it's great.
Triple UFM.
This is Tuesday Drive.